Hey, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to do a 1-year update on my Senville LETO series mini split system. So what I'm going to cover in this video is I'll talk a little bit about the installation of this unit, the functionalities of the unit, and then I actually want to give a 1-year update as I've been using this now. I had this installed last summer and I was able to run it through both the summer months where I needed it for air conditioning and the winter months where I needed it for heating. So let's kind of start with installation. This is actually a really interesting space. I have this mounted up here in the wall. This is actually my office out here. You can see this is my desk setup. So I'm essentially sitting right here with the mini split closest to where I'm spending most of the time in this space. This was actually a converted room. I use it as a really cool gaming kind of arcade setup. I'll have friends come over, but originally this was actually a garage that we converted. So I'm essentially using this to both heat and cool this entire space, but most of the time I'm spending in here is sitting right here. We actually have a 3-car garage off of this space, so it's quite large, as you can see. I'm actually using the middle bay as a gym, and then we have a large commercial garage bay here where we can fit 2 additional cars. I have a sub panel that's down here, and basically for this particular mini split, I hired an electrician to come in and run a wire that goes up this wall. Basically, you can see here, and all the way across the beam we have in my garage that then leads all the way down here. We added this nice protective covering here that kind of runs next to this copper pipe, which I'll later be removing, that runs down this wall here and then all the way across and through the wall over here. Now I'll actually walk out and show you the rest of the setup so you can see what the outside condenser looks like, and then we'll come back in and I'll walk through some of the settings of the unit and talk a little bit more about that. In fact, we can chat about it now while we're running outside. I actually had this through the winter. And the biggest thing was that, I had this place cooled with a commercial heater that we have up here. There's a big Modine unit that's basically run off an oil-based boiler system. And for this particular unit, I really wanted something that could specifically heat that space, especially through the winter time. So what I decided to do is actually add the condenser on the outside. This is actually the boiler for the main garage is in this room. We have our oil tank here, but I had no real easy way of adding an extra zone, and I figured the mini split would be a good solution to this. So we actually added our AC disconnect over here. I had the electrician put this in. It's basically just a box, and inside here you have your on-off switch, so this provides an additional way to power this off. And then this actually has a line that then runs directly into the unit to keep it powered. You have the line set here, and then there's a line set kit that then runs up here. So this is actually a separate kit that I purchased. You can get these, generally fairly low cost. And then I also got this universal mounting kit here that you can see is basically just bracketed into the wall. So the condenser is not particularly large. Here, this is basically it after about a year of use, and really has been great. There's actually very small sign of like rust on the plate itself on my kit, but this condenser is held up. Everything is in great shape. This was getting snowed on. There's just a little bit of dirt and whatnot, rain, and everything is held up extremely well. I haven't had any issues with it running. I was able to keep this going at up to about -5 degrees, and it would even work in some of those bad conditions, right? I didn't really have too many issues with that, and I was actually able to cool that room. One of the things that I found with the mini split is that obviously you are going to use a lot more electricity, and as we go back inside I'll show you the remote and some of the functions on there, but pretty much what I came up with is that with that particular mini split I ran into a slight issue, and it wasn't fault of the mini split, but that you can see here in this garage we have a concrete floor. And the past owner that owned this home had finished that room. They did a lot of the work in here. We're just cleaning up our garage here. We got a yard sale coming up. But yeah, we ended up, they laid this vinyl flooring down, and they didn't put any insulation under this, right? They just laid the flooring right on the concrete. And I found that in the wintertime, a lot of cold air was coming in through the floor. So what I ended up needing to do is actually supplement my mini split with a heated electric pad. I essentially got this large rug, and then I got a pad that's about the same size. It's maybe about a foot shorter than the rug is. So as you can see, it's pretty large. And I have a piece plugged in over here into the wall that I control with an app on my phone using one of these little plugs, so I don't have to come back here every time to power it on. I can just remotely do it from my phone, or if I'm inside the house, I can remotely turn that on. The other thing I did, which was really crucial for the wintertime, is I added this little device here. This is called the SEER Breeze, and this works with any mini split. The LETO models actually have, by default, you can get 2 of these models. One of them specifically has Wi-Fi and the other one does not. Now in my case, because I'm all the way out in this garage and our house is essentially next door in a separate building, if it was a really cold day in the winter, I would have to you know, come out here, and obviously coming in here freezing cold, you know, it's like 0 degrees out, not very ideal. So I wanted the ability to be able to control my heated pad with the Wi-Fi, which I did with this little device here. You can find these very easily online. And then I also wanted the ability, using the SEER device, to power up the mini split, and this worked perfectly. Essentially, this acts as a remote control for the unit. It basically emulates the exact same functionality that the IR remote that comes with the Senville unit will do. In terms of some of the features with this, and I know I'm covering a lot, I really wanted to make this kind of an update video, but essentially you have your several modes here. You can set your temperature. You can go between heating, AC, so if I switch this is fan mode. I can go into an auto mode, cool, and then dry, as well as heat. We can also change the fan speed here, so this will actually change the temperature. If I hit fan, this will go either auto, low, medium, or high. I usually had it set to high. We have the vane here, which will come down. Sometimes I did notice, in sort of rare occasions, that this blowing on my face while sitting here for a long period of time, especially in the winter months, you would get a little bit of dry eyes. And usually what I would do is just, you know, I basically just got myself like a little dry eye supplement that I would take once in a while to help alleviate that. But that is something to consider, is if you install this somewhere, obviously you want it close, but maybe not so close that it's going to be blowing on you. But overall, if I was to do it again, I probably would have left it here, because honestly this worked great for my situation. If anything, maybe I could have moved it to the right a little bit more, but I think here it actually looks a little better, kind of lines up with this TV and everything I have set up in here. Beyond that, you have a few other functions on the remote. Let's kind of go through those. You have a timer you can set. See if we can get this to focus in. You can do sleep mode. In fact, I'll put this down. Might have the camera panning a little better. Sometimes the focus there takes a second. You can change the swing settings. You have an LED setting. You can do follow, which basically what that will do is look for people based on a sensor, and it will also follow. It actually has a sensor in the remote, and the sensor will work based off of what the temperature is of the remote's location, which is really cool. So for example, if I took this remote and put it all the way on the other side of the room, it's going to try to get the temperature of the space to be based on where the remote is located in the room and not actually on the unit itself. A couple other things is that you can do a self-clean mode. You have some shortcuts, and then turbo mode I do recommend, especially in the winter mode, because that'll kick it up so it tries to get to the temperature faster. Now overall, would I recommend this again? You know, because of my installation issue I had with my floor needing to add this pad, I was able to make this situation work. Ultimately, what I'd really recommend is that you're going to be in a space that is well insulated to make a mini split like this work. This is, you know, fairly high BTU. You can get these in various ranges. This is the 12,000, but you can get them in 18,000, 24,000, or even 9,000. I would say if you have a smaller room, like maybe a room half this size, a 9,000 would be good. But honestly, this 12,000 has worked pretty well. I don't know if going up to 18 would have made a massive enough amount of a difference for this particular space, and considering I'm sitting right here, works well. The biggest thing I found was that it just needed to be running constantly. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to be replacing that boiler and adding natural gas to our home, and that's going to allow me to maybe either do like baseboard heat that I could add supplementary that would run along this entire wall, and that would better help heat the space, and then I can kind of combine the two to run off of one another and help each other out to heat. And then in the summer months, I have this as air conditioning, where I'm not going to have that at all, utilizing the gas. So you know, overall, I'm very happy with the unit. It's easy to control. Adding that SEER device and my little carpet heater down here was definitely a nice added benefit to add a little bit more heat coming up through the floor. But I will say that my electric bill was quite high in those winter months, but that was to be expected, given that you're probably going to spend more on electricity on the heating versus doing AC and cooling. So anyway, overall, I'm very happy with the unit. I think it's, you know, really hasn't given me any problems. The installation of it was fairly straightforward. Again, having the electrician come in was one charge, and then I had to hire an HVAC company to come in and basically set all of this up on their side. So anyway, overall, I think this is a great unit. Honestly, very comparable even to my Mitsubishis, which I ended up making quite a bit of a larger, purchase to actually be able to get that. And I think this has been a great contender to that. So anyway, I'm very happy with the unit. Thought I would do a quick update video, and hopefully you guys have found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.